socializing feels like a chore at this point. It doesn't really reflect how I want to feel, but I just been noticing that more and more lately. That the more I try to put myself out there, it doesn't go as bad as I think it's gonna go, but it just it feels like way too much effort, and it also importantly doesn't feel fun anymore to socialize. Everyone's in a constant state of depression, and which I can totally understand, but it just kills the mood after a while when you're always in that state of mind constantly. And then it gets to the point where like you start to exclude yourself from the conversation. Like you become mute, you don't really respond to a lot of things, you don't add to the conversation, you kind of just like sit there. Once in a while you'll look at the group of people you're talking to, or else you're just in your phone. But it doesn't really do anything. It's not stimulating, and I can kind of feel the energy. I wouldn't even say the energy shifts. I would say the energy kind of just like dies. It's like a faint pulse that like slowly gets more and more like weaker and weaker until it just completely stops, and then one of us has to make an excuse to leave, go somewhere, do something, what have you. I want to also make this video because I'm starting to realize that depression is becoming more normalized in society. Not like normalized like accept it, but like normalized as like this is like the default state that most people are in, is like depressed, miserable, maybe like irritable too. I think people kind of also have that anxiety thing where like you're looking for the worst case scenario. So a lot of people are not really living in the present, they're kind of reacting to the what if. So like for example, I was at the gym the other day and I was just doing my usual workout. I haven't been there in a minute just because I was planning for my trip to Montreal and stuff like that, and I didn't really have enough time because I was picking up hours and yada yada yada. Anyway, so I was doing my regular workout, and I guess this woman was like doing like a tripod recording thing with her phone. I guess she was trying to like record her workout, but her flash was also on. And since like there's a gigantic mirror in the front of the gym, it kind of keeps reflecting back in my eyes every time I look in a certain direction. It's kind of getting a little nauseating. So I went to the other machine to try to work out, and I didn't realize that another person was using that machine. I guess he got off to do something like fill some water and come right back to it. But as I was doing going through my workout, there's just this guy, because I didn't know it at that point. So there's this guy that's like right next to me, not doing much. I was like, okay. And I'm not looking at him at all. I just see him in my rear view and I can just, I thought that was like strange. And then I continue with my workout. And then he reaches for his water bottle on top of the machine that he left over there, which I didn't see because I'm just in my own like little zone. I didn't really see that there. I continue with my workout, and because I'm listening to my song, I'm almost at the chorus, and then right when I was at the chorus, I was like, "Wait, was he using this?" So I finally, and this after this point, it's been like a minute. So I look, take my headphones off, and I ask him, "Hey, we're using this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I just left to do something. I came right back. Yeah, I just need like two more sets to do." And I just like I kindly just got up and I went right next to him just to work out because it didn't really interrupt me, it didn't interrupt my flow that much. It's fine. It's not that deep. But it goes to show, I know that's like long winded, but it goes to show like if you have a problem, like a lot of men need to work on like speaking up instead of just sitting there being mute and just standing there watching him, hopefully like waiting for him to get up so you can get the machine again. Just say what you want to say. Like just be direct. I don't know why a lot of men specifically like to pussyfoot around certain things that are not big deals. Like I'm not gonna be, even if I was angry, it's not the end of the world. It's just a workout. Like just speak up. Like and he was a lot older than me, which I think kind of like annoyed me a little bit. Is because like you're no longer a teenager. You shouldn't be this awkward all the time. If you have something to say it, because you standing there and staring people down isn't going to do anything. And if anything, you're more aggressive now because now you're staring at someone. They don't know why you're staring at them. And if I stare back at you, then I'm the rude one. You know what I'm saying? Like this could have been over if you just said something instead of like trying to use your fake telekinesis that you've convinced yourself that you had and trying to get me to get off my seat and move. I just don't get that. It pisses me off and happens at my job too. It's like you staring at someone is not going to make them do what you want them to do. I don't know what you want. This is why you use your words. This is why humans have language. I don't know why you're doing this like toddler BS with me. If you and you're an adult, like you should know this. This isn't elementary. You should have gotten out of this phase when you were a little kid. You're like he looked like he was almost pushing like 40 or something. Like what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, come on now. But anyway, people, it just goes to show like the anxiety mixed with the depression creates a society of like really meek people, of people who are just constantly just reacting or hiding or shy, or just don't know how to interact with people. And it makes the situation worse. I don't know what you think you're preventing by being passive aggressive. I don't get that shit. I'd rather you be aggressive than passive aggressive, because then we can just hash it out right now instead of me having to linger on thinking about what you're trying to convey or say for the next 10 to 15 minutes. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why whoever told you that was a better idea. Anyway, I know it's like a kind of like a little bit of a rant, but it wasn't just about the gym thing. It's just the overall message of society has changed to where people are becoming more needy and just not communicating well. And even in social situations, you guys don't even go out your way to even contribute to a conversation unless you have to make it like some type of trauma dump. That's the only time you'll be happy to actually communicate into a conversation, is if we have to do like another This Is Us flashback into like 1996 when your dad was hitting you or whatever. And then apparently everyone has to know that, and it has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. And then it's just awkward, but then we feel shitty because now it's awkward. And it feels weird. It's like the only time people really communicate is when they want to see a reaction, not because they actually want to talk to you. They either want to hear themselves speak, like I know, like I'm talking to the mic, I want to hear myself speak, but like they either want to hear themselves speak or they want to see a specific reaction from you. And if they don't get that specific reaction, then I mean, I guess it's a problem. I don't know. um it just feels like a perform, and I can understand why people feel like talking is performative, because it very much so is. It feels like you want to talk to a mirror looking back at yourself. It doesn't feel like you actually want to get to know a person. And what happened to like asking questions, like in conversations? Just if you have a question or you're curious about what someone's perspective is, just ask a question. Just ask a follow-up question like, huh, why you think this, why, what made you think like this, or what made you do this, and how come this happened, like who, what, when, where, and why. We learned this in first grade. Y'all don't ever use or implement it in conversations at all. So it's just that's what pushes the conversation forward, the questions, and then you get the reaction, and then you can start like making those connections of like similarities and start like relating to people. There's steps to this can honestly be like a mathematical equation if you really want to make it out to be like one. There could be several equations for a good conversation, but you guys always stop at like, okay, reaction. Like you treat every conversation like it's a TikTok or something, or an Instagram reel, where it's just kind of like beat to beat to beat. And I don't know. A lot of people say, "Oh, I go based on vibes," but then the vibes are always dead, so there's nothing to really base it off of. Is this just like me? And like I feel like I'm the only one who feels like this most days. And I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm depressed. Shit, I don't know. But but it's mostly just. I don't know. I feel like talking to people is a chore, especially when they need something, especially when I'm having conversations that's I can like see the end of the conversation and it's like leading into like the neediness. Like I want such and such, or can you give me such and such? And then I kind of like log out at that point because I can kind of see where it's going. And it's like I kind of don't want to keep giving people more shit. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I feel like I give a lot of myself to a lot of different people, and it stretches me a little too thin most days. Or it feels like you're just talking to me for the sake of just wanting to get something out of me. It feels like I'm being used now. So that also makes me want to disconnect. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please, if you have any like relation to this experience, please let me know in the comments. I just don't want to seem like I'm coming off as insane or crazy or annoying, or just, bitching just a bitch. But yeah. Anyway, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell for updates on my new videos. And leave any suggestions you want me to cover in the comments below. I'll read them. No worries. All right, you guys have a good one.